By now, you've probably all seen Will Smith slap the ever-loving crap out of Chris Rock after he made a joke about his wife. A slap is one of the most insulting and embarrassing things you could do to another person. And unsurprisingly, the history of some of the world's most famous slaps is quite interesting as well. In this video, we'll be taking a look at some of the most famous slaps throughout history. Let's begin. Even though slaps might be considered insulting today, they were actually considered a medical treatment back in the day. Apparently, in the 19th century, there was a medical condition called hysteria that only women were thought to suffer from. In the absence of modern medicine and technology, doctors at the time could only come up with one solution to treat the so-called illness: slapping women right across the face. The link between slapping someone to fix their hysteria is something that's stuck around in movies and TV shows to this day, but there's no actual medical evidence for this. Slapping and misogyny don't just stop here. Apparently, in certain Eastern European and Middle Eastern cultures, it was rather common to slap a young girl whenever she menstruates for the first time. It's not a rather hard slap, but it's still quite a weird tradition to have nonetheless. The slap is supposed to be impromptu and very unexpected, since it was meant to signify all of the unexpected problems that a woman would usually have to face when they get older. But one thing about slapping someone is that it's a total power move. According to certain historical reports, King Christian VII of Denmark, who ruled over the nation in the 18th century, would violently slap foreign dignitaries across the face whenever they would discuss foreign affairs with him. Apparently, diplomatic immunity couldn't save you from the wrath of the slap. The dignitaries couldn't really do anything about it since they didn't want to start a war with Denmark or just end up getting killed for insulting the king. Government-sponsored slapping events don't end there though. One of the most famous slapping tales in history took place in Mongolia back in 1935. It was when Joseph Stalin, the supreme ruler of the Soviet Union, was on a state visit to Mongolia in a meeting with their president, Paljidin Gendin. In the meeting, Stalin tried to pressure Gendin into suppressing the powerful Buddhist clergy in Mongolia, a deeply religious nation at the time. Gendin was apparently so insulted that Stalin would even suggest such a thing that he slapped Stalin as hard as he could and broke his pipe. He drunkenly screamed, "You bloody Georgian, you have become a virtual Russian Tsar." It seems like to Gendin, Stalin was a total Backpfeifengesicht, which is a German word for face that desperately needs slapping. Sometimes, slaps can also be seen as a means to settle disputes of sorts. There's probably no better example of this than what happened in 2014 when an Iranian woman named Samere Alinjad was in a large crowd waiting for her son's murderer to be publicly executed. However, before the death sentence could be carried out, she walked up to the gallows and slapped the face of her son's murderer before forgiving him and suspending the sentence. Apparently, she didn't want another mother to go through the same pain that she did, but she still wanted the murderer to be punished in some sort of way. But even though that slap averted almost certain death, the same cannot be said for the next slap, or slaps we're about to mention. Apparently, since 2005, happy slapping became sort of a thing in the UK, where a gang of people would start lightly slapping a victim and record it on their cameras. However, happy slapping took a very unhappy turn when in 2009, a man by the name of Ekram Haq was happy slapped by a massive group of people in front of his 3-year-old granddaughter. He was severely injured from the incident, and a few days later, he succumbed to his injuries. All of this brings us back to the 2022 Academy Awards, when after Chris Rock made a rather distasteful joke about Jada Smith's hair, even though she was suffering from alopecia, Will Smith angrily got on stage and slapped Chris Rock into the next dimension. The slap was certainly impactful, both physically and in terms of its influence, and people are generally divided on whether or not it was the right thing to do. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Will Smith was justified in his slap? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. See you in the next one.